Right now on Hoosier News Source, Kappa Kappa Gamma is on cease and desist. And IU buys out the contract of Archie Miller, who will no longer be the men's head basketball coach.
And I have a look at some severe storm chances heading our way this week. Hoosier News Source starts now.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier News Source. I'm Bridget Taylor. We begin this week's episode with the latest COVID-19 updates. HNS reporter Andrew Lamparski is on campus with the new numbers. Andrew?
Thanks, Bridget. While there weren't any major shifts this week, there was a slight increase in positivity and a decrease in the number of tests given. A 0.2% overall positivity rate from last week's mitigation testing, up from last week's 0.15%. That's also the highest we've seen since the first week of February. But there were also fewer tests this week, over 5,000 fewer to be more specific, and as of now we don't know exactly why that is. Meanwhile, Greek houses remain at 0.1% positivity, residence halls climb to 0.3% from 0.2%, and off-campus positivity also remains at 0.1%. And for the second week in a row, the university is reporting 0% usage of Ashton, the on-campus quarantine and isolation housing right behind me. And on to some vaccine news. Those 45 and older are now eligible to register for their vaccine. This comes as the state has now fully vaccinated over 850,000 people. Here in Monroe County, over 17,000 are fully vaccinated and over 26,000 have received at least their first dose. And that's all for this week's Campus COVID Update. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Andrew Lamparski.
Thanks, Andrew. Indiana state educators can also now receive the COVID-19 vaccine. The eligibility for teachers comes after President Biden's call to states to prioritize teachers, school employees, and child care workers. The White House directive immediately opened vaccine access to teachers from participating pharmacies. This week, Indiana opened access for educators at state-run vaccine clinics. Pre-K through 12th grade teachers, other school employees, child care workers, as well as support staff can begin scheduling their doses. An IU sorority is under investigation after the Indiana Daily Student published allegations of hazing. The university placed IU's Kappa Kappa Gamma chapter on cease and desist, meaning all chapter activities are suspended. The hazing allegations include verbally berating members and threatening to make pledges choose between doing drugs or performing a sex act. Kappa Kappa Gamma's headquarters is working with the university to investigate these allegations. In a statement, Kappa headquarters says, in part, Delta chapter of Kappa Kappa Gamma at Indiana University is one of our longest-standing chapters, yet we will not stand by while instances of violence or threats of violence are perpetrated among our members. The health and safety of our members are always our top priority. Campaigning for the next student body president and vice president at IU has officially begun. 3 campaigns are vying for those spots: Legacy, Inspire, and Elevate. Students will get a chance to hear from each campaign during a virtual town hall next Tuesday, March 23rd. This all leads up to an online election on April 1st and 2nd. Hoosier News Source will continue to keep you up to date on the IUSG election cycle continues to heat up. If you enjoy biking on campus, your commute just got easier. IU now has a new facility for bicycle parking at Ballantyne Hall. The Ballantyne Bike Hub has more than 100 bicycle racks available on a first-come, first-served basis. The majority of the racks hang vertically on the wall, and there are 10 horizontal racks available on the floor. IU Bloomington is a silver-rated bicycle-friendly university by the League of American Bicyclists. This new hub is one of several recent bicycle projects that could push the campus to the gold level. Students, faculty, and staff can access the Ballantyne Hall Bike Hub by any point using their Crimson Card. Caroline Klare now joins us in studio with the latest on this week's warmer weather. Caroline?
Thanks, Bridget. As temperatures become warmer as we make our way into spring, convective storms are becoming increasingly likely. As for Wednesday night going into early Thursday morning, we have some severe storm chances making its way into Bloomington. And as you can see, we have a 70% chance of precipitation, some light winds, and as you can see with this dew point, what this means is if these two temperatures, the closer they are, the higher the risk for precipitation in our area. So as you can see, these are nearly the same, so we can expect some rain in the overnight hours going into Thursday morning. Now let's take a zoomed out look at what is causing these storms. So we'll have this low pressure system making its way through south central Indiana, and what it's going to do is this warm front here is going to be a proper lifting mechanism for some of this moisture coming from the Gulf and from the Atlantic, bringing this lift into the atmosphere, which is going to create some of these storms. And as this system makes its way slightly northeast here, it's going to be bringing those convective chances in the overnight hours Wednesday going into Thursday morning. So might hear a rumble of thunder, might see a few flashes of lightning as you wake up Thursday morning. Now let's take a look at what we can expect for the rest of the week. After some rain chances on Wednesday and Thursday, some high pressure is going to come in and bring a beautiful weekend. Slightly cool temperatures in the overnight hours, but other than that, it's going to be quite a beautiful weekend. And as we go into early next week, some more rain chances make their way into town. Stay dry and make sure you're weather aware in case of severe weather this week. Bridget, back to you.
Coming up on Hoosier News Source, we hear about the change the IU men's basketball program is making. Plus, we hear what's going on around the world. Stay with us. Welcome back to Hoosier News Source. HNS reporter Ella Rhodes joins us with an update on international news in what's going on around the world. Ella?
Thanks, Bridget. Vigils are being held across England in honor of Sarah Everard. Everard was abducted and killed while walking home from a friend's in South London. On Friday, police found her body and charged police officer Constable Wayne Cousins with her kidnapping and murder. Everard's story is causing an outcry across the world as women from all over are sharing their similar stories. The vigils in England continue despite coronavirus restrictions as organizers face possible fines. Over the weekend, reports came out that the Biden administration reached out to North Korea last month. Tuesday, Kim Jong-un's sister Kim Yo-jong responded to the new administration in a warning. She said if it wants to sleep in peace for the coming 4 years, it had better refrain from causing a stink at its first step. Kim Yo-jong criticized the United States and South Korea for continuing military drills. The Biden administration is reviewing the American policy with North Korea after the talks former President Donald Trump had with Kim. And several countries in Europe are suspending the use of AstraZeneca's vaccine. 37 out of 17 million recipients of the vaccine reported having blood clots, but there's no direct evidence that links the vaccine to clotting. As an investigation looks into the case, the World Health Organization recommends people should continue to receive the vaccine. AstraZeneca is planning to apply for United States authorization in the coming weeks. And that's all for now around the world. Bridget, back to you.
Thanks, Ella. Indiana football coach Tom Allen and Indiana University have agreed to extend his contract until 2027. With the new contract, he will now be receiving an annual pay of $4.9 million. Allen has been with IU for over 4 years and has brought the team to victory this past season with a record of 6-2. IU athletic director Scott Dolson said, Tom Allen has proven himself to not only be the right person for our student athletes and our program, but one of the best football coaches of the country.
When you talk to recruits and their families, and they want to know, are you going to be coaching my son? When he's a sophomore and junior and senior, and because that's a big deal. And so things like this send a strong message that direction. The commitment.
Allen was named the 2020 Big Ten Coach of the Year, and the team finished the season ranked number 13 in the coaches poll. And March Madness is heading to Bloomington this week, but IU's men's basketball team won't be playing. For the first time, a singular state will host the entire NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Beginning this Thursday, Simon Skjodt Assembly Hall will host half of the first 4 games, featuring number 16 seeds competing against one another. Then, from March 19th to the 22nd, both Assembly Hall and the Indiana Farmers Coliseum in Indianapolis will host first and second round games. While most of the Indiana venues are limiting fan attendance to 25%, Assembly Hall is capping attendance at just 500 people. For updates on the scores and game times as the tournament progresses, you can visit ncaa.com and stream all live games with the March Madness app. Now we'll hand it over to our in-house sports reporter, Jackson Kinney, to tell us even more news about the fate of the IU basketball program. Jackson?
Thanks, Bridget. Well, folks, it's tournament time. Indiana women's basketball has earned an at-large berth to the women's NCAA tournament being fully held in Texas. The team was given the 4th seed in the Mercado region and will face the VCU Rams on March 22nd. This is the 7th NCAA tournament appearance in program history and the highest seed the program has ever earned. And then, as for the men's basketball program, Indiana University announced on Monday that the school has parted ways with now former head basketball coach Archie Miller after 4 seasons. The firing comes after Indiana ended this most recent season 12-15 and on a 6-game losing streak, including the loss to Rutgers in the Big Ten tournament. Athletic Director Scott Dolson released a statement confirming the firing and that the school acquired private philanthropic funding to pay for Miller's buyout, which cost just over $10 million. Miller replaced Tom Crean as head coach in 2017, and during his 4 seasons in Bloomington, the Hoosiers never played in an NCAA tournament game. Indiana was 67-58 overall during the tenure and 33-44 in the Big Ten. Athletic Director Dolson stated he will not form a formal search committee, but will find a new head coach himself with the help of consultants in the program and around the nation. For more in-depth coverage of all of Indiana athletics, tune into IUS TV's own Hoosier Sports Night every Friday. Bridget, back to you.
Thanks, Jackson, and thank you for watching this week's episode of Hoosier News Source. To learn more about this week's story, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at IUS TV News. I'm Bridget Taylor from Bloomington, Indiana. We'll see you next time.